How are you feeling? There are some big cosmic energies at play right now, so you may be wondering why you're just feeling a little bit or just off. Today, I'm going to unpack what some of these energies mean for you and how you can harness them for your benefit. Welcome. I'm Yang Pratt, the Chief Conscious Body Catalyst here at Illuminating You Productions. And here at Illuminating You, we help big hearted female entrepreneurs to step more fully into the spotlight of the life they know they're meant to live by helping them to fully embody who they were designed to be. I am so glad you are here with me. Whether you are watching live or on the replay, let me know that you are here so we can continue the conversation after this live has ended. Big cosmic energies. Today happens to be a super blue moon, a super full moon, which has its own set of big energies. And so that alone could feel like just something is happening. Full moons are great times for us to let go of things that are no longer serving. It's kind of like a final chapter. What do we need to close out in our life? What do we need to wrap up? What loose ends do we need to tie to move on to that next step? It's a really great time just to sort of be in your body, check in with yourself, and just let go again of the things that are no longer serving you. And you can set your intentions by the light of the moon. You can go for a dip in the water if you are someplace near the water in the full moon and bask in its glow. It's such a fun time to experience the different sensations you may be feeling. Let's face it, when planets go into retrograde, which there are several planets currently in retrograde, we have a super full moon. There's a lot that can be felt and sensed. And each of us, because we are unique, are going to feel things a little bit differently. While some people may not be impacted at all by these things, others of us may really feel in really attune to what is going on and sense them in a really big way. So, no matter what your experience is, it's all okay and it's all normal because it's normal for you. I wanted to talk about two of the transits happening right now. Now, in the human design body graph, the sun and the moon and the different planets transit through the entire body graph over the course of the year. The sun and the moon transit every 6 days or so. Right now, the sun is in, let me tell you, let me grab my notes real quick. I prepared really well for this. So I wanted to make sure I gave you all the right information because this is a time for you to take these energies, really embody them, feel into them, and really it's your invitation to explore yourself in a different way. So today, the sun moves into gate 40. And in quantum human design, that is the gate of restoration, which lies in the will center. The will center, also known as the resource center, is just that. It's the place where we hold our resources, our reserve tank, if you will. It's the place where we hold our willpower. It is the place that we hold our integrity. There's a lot that happens in the will center. And interestingly enough, our society places a lot of value on having a lot of willpower. However, in the human design space, only about 1/8 of the people walking around on this planet have that defined, which will look like it's colored in your chart. So it's interesting that when we don't have it defined, we won't have consistent access to that energy. So if you, like me, don't have this defined, you may feel a call right now to step back and resource yourself. And that could look a million different ways. And when I think about resourcing myself, I think about self care. And to me, self care looks like anything or activity that helps me feel more me. It helps me feel connected to my higher self, my higher calling, and something that just really brings me joy. Right? Do you have those things in your life? I'm curious to know what kinds of self care activities do you partake in? Which are your favorite right now? And the beautiful thing is that when we engage in these self care activities, they may change and they probably will change over time because as you move through different seasons of your life, you may feel compelled to explore different things. For me, resourcing myself and renewing my energy looks like being out in nature. It looks like moving my body, usually out in nature, so I can combine those things together. It means getting sunshine on in my eyes without sunglasses, without protection on them first thing in the morning. So when I go for a walk outdoors in the morning, I'm again putting all those things together. So I am stacking habits, which is the best way if you're interested in learning how to cultivate habits that you really would like to cultivate. When you stack them on top of other habits, that's the easiest way I've learned to cultivate new habits without making them feel like chores, right? So restoration, rest, renewal, these are all the invitations we have in play right now as the sun sits in the gate 40. So as you think about your day, I invite you to contemplate. Take these ideas for a walk. What are some things you can do for yourself today? What is one thing? Just think of one thing. What can you do for yourself today to help renew and recharge your battery? That's the invitation for the sun in gate number 40. And then, of course, we have the moon, and that is in gate 37 currently. And gate 37 is housed in the emotional solar plexus. Now, the ESP center is a place where we hold our creativity, where we hold our abundance, where we hold our connection and belief in the universe or a higher power. And it holds our emotional wisdom. So if you have ever had your human design chart read, or you've gone someplace to request a chart, if that center is colored in, the right bottom hand triangle on your chart is colored in, that is a defined center. You'll have consistent access to any center in your chart that is colored in. If it is white, that means the energy in the center, the themes of the center are variable. So depending on the transits of the different planets through the human design body graph, or depending on who you are in proximity with, you may be able to draw on their energy as well. So you may sense these things differently over the course of the day or over the course of a week, really depending on a lot of different factors. It's such an interesting way, human design is such an interesting way to really look at ourselves. And if you're not familiar with human design, maybe you're asking yourself, what the heck is she talking about, this human design thing? One of the most beautiful definitions I've heard of human design is the art of differentiation, the art and science of differentiation, right? We're all humans, right? We have that in common, yet we are so vastly different. And for us to really survive and thrive, we really need those differences and strengths so we can help one another along in our journey of life, right? And human design gives us a very beautiful pictorial representation of the potential in our energy field. It is in no way a box to put yourself in. I know lately I've heard some people talk about human design like it's a convenient way to categorize or systematize people. And yes, it is a system. However, it's not one of those where you put all of your qualities in a box or in a jar and close the lid and forget about it. And that is what you are, the definition, right? You are these qualities. That is not at all what human design is about. It's really about the potential that we have as human beings in this iteration of our lifetime to maximize and live our life most abundantly, most joyfully, and most in alignment with the truth of who we are. So if you're curious about what this human design thing is all about, please just raise your hand or say me underneath this video. Let me know. I will reach out to you. And for sure, if you have not had your chart done, your human design chart done, please send me a message because I'm happy to pull a chart for you. And if you'd like to go further, we can really dive in some sessions to find out what all of it means. Because to be quite honest, when I first came to human design, or I'll say when human design found me at a time when I needed it most, right before the lockdowns in 2020, there was so much to unpack, and I felt really overwhelmed for a very long time. And even though I had mentors and I could ask questions, it wasn't always in a one-on-one situation where I could ask about my specific chart or say, "Hey, you know what? I'm feeling this. Why would I be feeling that? Is that part of the experience I'm meant to have? Have I picked up someone else's stories and beliefs? And because I've lived those stories and beliefs for so long, that just is part of my narrative?" Having a reading with someone, whether it's me or someone else, is such a fun experience to really see yourself in a new light. It's one of my favorite activities that I get to do in a week, when I get to sit with somebody and look at their amazingness through the lens of human design, and look at the potential that is sitting there waiting for them, and the invitation for them to step up and be more in alignment with the person who they know on the inside they've always wanted to be. Yet somewhere along the way, they've been tripped up or took a detoured path, and they're not quite where they want to be yet. And human design is just a fantastic tool for us to know ourselves on a deeper level. So, again, if you are curious at all about human design, what it could mean for you, how to use the energies in your chart, how to look at maybe some of the habits you would like to create, habits you may want to break, some cycles that you would not like to repeat again. I know for myself, that was a lot of what I learned in human design. I could look back and see so clearly why certain things in my life, certain events that unfolded in a way that I really wouldn't have preferred they unfolded. I can see quite clearly where in my chart I was out of alignment, out of integrity with myself. And of course, I didn't know that at the time. So it's only literally, this is going on 3.5 years now of me digging into the nuance and the depth that is within the human design chart. So by all means, reach out to me if you are interested in learning more or want to have a conversation about your incredible potential. With that being said, let's get back to these transits. So I shared that currently the sun is in gate 40, the gate of restoration. So today's invitation for you to journal, for you to contemplate, is what is one activity you can do today or this week to help you recharge your battery? Because if we run our batteries to the point of where there's no charge left and we keep going, relying on willpower energy that most of us don't have consistent access to, it's a surefire recipe for burnout. And as someone who has been to that point of burnout and beyond, and yes, I can very clearly see in my chart where I have let myself get burned out. And recognizing those things now really does help me to check in with myself and say, whew, okay, I need to fuel my tank. I need to be more resourced. And how can I do that? So, again, it's just a really, really wonderful system, a way for us to check in with ourselves and to check in with our own integrity, especially with ourselves, because, most of us wouldn't say something or tell someone we're going to do something and not do it, right? Most of us are really, really good about showing up for other people, probably more so for others than for ourselves, right? We let ourselves off the hook a lot. And I am as responsible and of doing that as anyone, right? It's so easy to put all of our love and all of our care and all of our attention onto other people, our kids, our coworkers, our families, our spouses, our partners, right? To be able to give, without necessarily getting as much back in return, and also not giving to ourselves. So this whole conversation today is really about how can we flip the script. We need to change the paradigm and make self-care, feeling good, well-being, the measure by which we really ascertain our success. Rather than them looking externally at some external measures of success and looking for validation outside of ourselves, human design and the cosmic energies at play really give us opportunities to explore ourselves at a deeper level and really cultivate a deeper, more nurturing, more loving, more compassionate relationship with ourselves, because we're so hard on ourselves. Most of us would never speak to people outside of our family, outside of ourselves. We would never speak as badly to them out loud as we speak to ourselves at times. And I really would love to change that narrative. How can we be the most compassionate, loving people to our own selves? Because in order for us to give more love, we need to cultivate more love in ourselves. We need to cultivate more energy. We need to be more resourced. We need to be better rested. We need renewal. And it's a cycle, right? We're not always going to be in a rest cycle, but if you look to Mother Nature as an example, the beautiful tulips don't grow all year long. There is a season for that. And I think somewhere along the way, we have forgotten that because we are so intent on being productive and doing more and accomplishing more and never really celebrating what it is we already accomplished, but really wanting to go for that next thing. And there's nothing wrong with having goals or having a big vision. I'm just saying, what if? What if we took more time to celebrate us? What if we took more time to rest? Rest is not another four-letter word. Really, it is really essential. The more rest we get, the more resourced we feel, the more confidently we show up, the more energetically, the more vibrantly we can show up. So it's so, so, so important. So as the sun is sitting in this gate 40, really think about the ways that you resource yourself. Is there a new habit, something new that you would like to do to more consistently resource yourself? And then, of course, in gate 37, the moon is in gate 37, which is the gate of peace. How can we feel more at peace with ourselves? This is a tough question, a tough ask. Feeling peaceful in our bodies, as ourselves, as these people that whose lives that we've created, right? How can we develop more peace within ourselves so that we can be more peaceful when we go out and interact with other people? And then, interestingly enough, these two gates connect the will center to the emotional solar plexus to create a channel. So when two gates connect, it creates something called a channel in human design. And the channel that we're sitting here in the energy of currently is the channel of the bargain, the channel of administration. And really, this is an invitation for us to explore the value that we place and hold for ourselves. Are there bargains that we've made with ourselves that we haven't fulfilled? And if so, why is that happening? Is there something that's preventing us from keeping our word to ourselves? Right? Because that's really an important piece of this whole puzzle here. We're really being called in the next couple days to think about, are we in alignment? Are we in integrity with ourselves? Right? And these are really big, broad questions that you could probably ponder for the next month or several months and still not necessarily have a clear answer to, and that's okay. These questions are just meant to get you to think about yourself in a different way, in a brighter, lighter way, in a potentiality sort of way. What is the potential of you? And through human design and what we can find there, the lessons that are there for us, we can really start to move into a place where we're in alignment, where things feel joyful, where things are flowing, where there is ease. And again, ease is often considered a four-letter word in our society, right? We are always told to hustle and push and just work a little harder. But what if we didn't do that? What if we chose to find this place of ease within our bodies, to release the tension in our bodies so our bodies work more efficiently? What if we could be more easygoing about the work that we do? What if we could be more easygoing and have more flow in our everyday existence? Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? I know that I, for one, my new measure of success really is well being. I need to stop every day and ask myself, how good do I feel? And what can I do to feel even better? Right? There's this sort of ceiling I feel on feeling good and feeling well and feeling vital, right? There's this ceiling which most of us don't tend to break through, right? We get in this place of comfort where we think, okay, it feels really good. And then we get scared and we act out of fear because we think that everything's going to fall apart, right? The old cliche. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. When things are going well, and you're going up on this trajectory, and all of a sudden there's that fear and that ceiling saying, "Oh no, something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen." Right? It puts us back down the hill. So what if we allowed ourselves to really fully embrace how good we can feel, and every day make it a challenge to say, "Okay, I feel good on a scale of 1 to 10. I feel like I'm at a 7. What can I do today to feel like I'm at an 8? And then maybe the next day at a 9 or a 10. And then once you reach the level of 10, how long can you stay there? How good can it get?" And that is something, my friend, that you get to decide. And by using the transits of the sun and the moon and really contemplating their messages for us, their invitations to us, we can really start to build up this comfort zone to a bigger level so that we can really break through this ceiling so that we can really just feel so good in ourselves, in our bodies. And when we feel good, we just show up differently. And that, my friend, is the magic of human design. We get to show up as our most incredible selves, and there are lessons for us within our charts that can help us feel more well, more good. We can experience more ease, but it's a choice. Like anything in the healing space, in the energetic space, it really is a choice. And every day we get to make that choice. So I invite you today, as we experience this super full blue moon, to go outside tonight, sit in the moonlight, let it wash over you, let it take with it all the things you want to let go of, and really think about how resourced you feel and how peaceful do you feel with yourself and as yourself as you go out into the world. And of course, before I wrap up, if you want more information about human design, if you're wanting to get really curious, like I did a few years ago, and say, okay, I want to know more about this because I feel like there's something bubbling up in me. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like my life is meant for something more than maybe it is right now. That's where I was 3 years ago. I invite you to reach out to me. Let's connect. Let's continue this conversation. And until then, my friend, I invite you to go out there in the world today and shine your light brighter into the world because the world needs you more than ever. I will catch you all next time. Cheers.